Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Go Hardrockers. How is everybody today? Good. Excellent. Hey, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Another edition of our Places Luncheons. We appreciate your attendance and your support. We have some good things going on. We had a wonderful Hall of Fame ceremony last weekend. A lot of good inductees. We have new plaques back here on the wall. I certainly suggest that when our event is done today, you can see who's been inducted. You may have also heard that we got a $1.1 million anonymous gift to our mental wear basketball programs, which includes new scoreboards for King Center. So, very excited about that. Good things continue to happen here. Hey, I wanted to say thank you to Subway for providing our food today. They do a fantastic job for us. I very much enjoy seeing everybody be able to come together over lunch and make things good here today. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with our head women's volleyball coach, Jenni. Bulduc.
Hello. So as some of you may know, we had a little rough weekend this weekend. We dropped 2 against Adams State, Fort Lewis, who are currently 4th and 5th in the RMAC. We played a really good match against Fort Lewis. We did a lot of really good stuff. We're passing the ball really well right now. Our redshirt senior outside hitter, Michaela Reese, and our junior transfer, Alia Bhatt, are back there by themselves a lot. We asked them to manage a lot of things. And Mac passed a 2.6 on a 3-point scale, which means that she's putting us in system a lot. That's a really high number, and for an outside hitter, that's just really, really good. I think our libero passed a 1.8, to put it in perspective. Teams tend to typically try to avoid the libero. We tell people not to serve at the person in the weird jersey because they're usually the best ball handling kid on the team. So the only other option often, because we are passing in a 2-pass formation, is Matt. And teams just look at her and she's taller and she's long and she looks like she's not going to be a great passer, but she is. And we want teams to keep serving at her because she takes care of stuff for us. So hopefully no one else that we're going to play is watching this right now. I think Emily Newton needs a little bit of a shout out today too. She did a great job for us this weekend. She hit 500 against Adams State and 429 against Fort Lewis. For both matches, she only hit 4 hitting errors. And I think she took about 85 swings. And she didn't get blocked a single time. There's a middle who's often running right in another blocker. That's huge for us. And she just manages things and like seeks the ball around the block quite a bit. We finally get to come home this weekend. I feel like we've maybe been living on a bus for the last 4 weeks. So we're really excited to get to play here. We opened against New Mexico Highlands Friday night. Right now they're 2-4 overall, so they actually skipped a week in a tournament. They didn't play 4 matches that we played, so we got a little more experience on them. And they're 0-2 in the RMAC. Both Highlands and CSU Pueblo played CCU and Colorado Lions first weekend, which is a pretty tough first weekend for them. And both of them went 0-2 for their first weekend. I'd like to tell you some stuff about New Mexico. They were doing a good job being mysterious, not putting any stats up on their website, and not helping us out very much with their film exchange. But they've got a lot of experience on their roster. They've got 5 juniors and 2 seniors. So I think it'll be a pretty good matchup for us, as well as CSU Pueblo, who's 1-9 overall as well. And they've got some physical pens, and they play some scrappy defense. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we match up against that. I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk already, so we've got sophomore setter Alia Bhatt, who's from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and junior middle blocker Anna Breidt here to talk to you about their experience in work. And Anna is from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Allie.
We're really excited for this weekend because we're playing New Mexico Highlands, and it's our first home match on Friday night. They have dropped 2 matches in conference, and so hopefully we can give them a run for the money. They have a long bus ride that we just had last weekend, so we know what it's like, and it'll be tough for them to come here and charge it. So.
Yep, we're really excited to be home. On Saturday after our game, we're actually having a little clinic for the Girl Scouts, and so we kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. We're super excited to connect with the community through this, and so we hope that we get a lot of girls to come.
And it's actually open to anyone, not just Girl Scouts, so if you guys have anyone who would want to come and play with us for half an hour, let them know.
Yep,
guys have any questions for us?
Any questions for the ladies?
How did you guys choose to finish up?
I wanted to play volleyball and be an engineer, and so that kind of limits your options, but I really liked South Dakota stuff.
My story is a little bit different. I actually was looking at another school, and then just within a week, I got the call from our coach, and it was just crazy. Everything happened in a week. I fell in love with this school. My visit was awesome. It had pre-med, which is what I'm studying, and so it was just a great choice for me.
How did it feel to change coaches?
It feels good. We really like Jenni. We're happy with everything she's done for us. I think she's really elevated our program. She's only been here for a month, but we already are so much more successful on and off the court, so we're really happy to have her here.
And our goal right now is to kind of stay away from last year. So we started a preseason, and we're continuing to grow every single week, and so that's definitely something it's all looking up. So. Any other questions? Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, ladies. We appreciate it. I was born in Colorado, and my wife's family is from Scottsbluff. So it's good to see you all here today. And it's always on my heart to see our student athletes come and participate here. It makes my job fun to be doing things that help you guys out. So just know that you guys are special, and we continue to hope for everything. We're going to move on to the next coach, men's soccer head coach Andrew Conniff.
So for those who don't know our results from the past weekend, Friday we went 5-1 over CCU, which was our biggest win in D2. The guys did everything right. Like we come up with a list of things we need to do for this game. Keys to the game, some offensive cues, some defensive things we need to look for. We look for some individual things like Trent, when you get the ball in this area, look for this. Center backs, this is what's going to be on. I didn't see like a wrong decision until the last 10 minutes, and we gave up a free kick and they scored, and we were already up 5-0 at that point. Just so happy for the guys. I mean, I think it's rare that you can put a team out there and like everything that you've asked for, they just did perfectly. So Justin Barco got a hat trick, the first NCAA D2 hat trick for us. 4 goals on the weekend for him. I'll get into the Sunday game in a minute. I really wanted him to come and talk today, but class took priority. Such a incredibly talented player. And before that game on Friday, I told him my goal today is to coach him less, because he is such an incredibly talented individual and so hardworking. I always challenge him. I'm always in his ear. Sometimes I think too much. This week I said I'm going to try and not talk to you on Friday, and came out and scored 3 goals in that game. So that's going to have to be a little bit more of a pattern. He's earned that right. It's just a true sophomore. Also, something kind of cool, true freshman Sterling McKenzie got to assist a goal to his brother, junior Noah McKenzie. And I think I heard the parents cheering up in the stands, so that's really a cool moment for both of them. They both, in terms of what we've changed this year, we're trying to be a more attacking team and create more chances, get more shots on goal, have more passes connected in the final third. The 2 McKenzie brothers have been a big part of that, so really cool for them to actually see some success in terms of the stat sheet. Everything I just said, honestly, was repeated on Sunday. Our team went out and they did everything I asked. Everything Coach Wood and I had prepared for them. They did it exactly. Metro State came out and was incredibly athletic. That didn't show in film. They had changed how they played, and something I said last week about Coach Tittle at Metro State. He's a very good coach, and he'll have something prepared for Sunday. Well, they had Wednesday to Sunday off, and he was very prepared, whereas we only had that Saturday off between games. They came out and played differently than I've seen them play in 2.5 years. Our guys stuck to what we had talked about and really limited dangerous opportunities for the most part. At halftime, we quickly adjusted to how Metro were playing, and again, really limited opportunities for them. The final score was 3-2 in favor of Metro. We scored on 2 penalty kicks. They scored on 2 penalty kicks. They also just happened to score on a corner, those are all set pieces, and not letting a team as quality as Metro score an open play, which is just instead of whistle, kick. Open plays where we don't want to concede goals. We want to be able to compete end to end for 90 minutes, and we did that. There's just a few exceptions. Not going to make comments about the calls because we let them into the penalty box. We put ourselves in position to foul them, and we did that. So now, Coach Wood and I, as we prepare for Metro again this Friday, we're starting to think, all right, what can we do a little bit differently? How can we put our guys in positions to succeed? This Sunday, I was more proud of our result from Sunday because Metro was such a better team than CCU, and our guys went out and competed the entire time. We challenged them with work rate and training all the time. When we're watching film, a lot of it is, could you have put in a little bit extra effort here? It's usually not, oh, could your pass have been better? Could you have read the situation better? It's just, could you have anticipated and worked back? Could you have stuck in this tackle? And they did that. We're going to go through some clips that aren't necessarily the prettiest with our players that are today, but it's, man, they are buzzing around the ball, they're working end to end. A Metro team that's honestly more athletic than us, and we made it really, really tough on them. Like I'd imagine if I talked to Jeremy right now, he would say that it wasn't an easy result for them. This is our game on Friday. A little bit fuzzy there, but a nice little combo for our first goal. Justin kind of had a little backheel flick to Noah McKenzie. Noah played it back to Justin. That was the first one. Are we going through the first four here, Brad? Second one was a penalty kick. Justin Barco, our guy who had the hat trick this game, on the weekend he also drew 3 penalty kicks. He doesn't get an assist for those, but maybe he should. Extremely productive for him. We're into the second half here. As you can see, it's 2-0. This is Noah McKenzie's second assist to Justin Barco. Just in the right area, challenges for the header. Justin uses his pace and composure to finish. And at this point, we were like up in the clouds because we've never been up 3-0 on an RMAC opponent. We've never, since I've been here, won a game by that margin. We've only won 1-goal games, I believe. So really, really excited for these individuals. Here's the pass from Sterling to Noah, and to take this first time, it looks slower there than it felt in person at least, but that was really well done from those two. So that pass from Sterling is easy to go underappreciated, but to weigh a pass to where a player's running onto it in stride and able to hit it first time it's hard to do. So I think those are all the clips we have, unless Brad has one. We scored 2 penalties on Sunday, but those they don't look too different from then. Some of the other penalties, just the guy placing the ball in a kind of high intensity situation. Here's Justin's penalty. And as more film gets out, so he scored 2 penalties now, teams will know how he approaches it, goalkeepers kind of review that, so that's going to be a challenge for him moving forward. David Panetta said he wanted the second one, and he stepped up with confidence and hit it here. This is actually at the end of a spell that there's just 2 minutes where our guys are all over the field making it tough on Metro. Metro couldn't take the ball down in that period of time, and they're a team that wants to possess the ball, they want to control the flow of the game. For 2 minutes, we were just making it impossible on them. Lars Scow, our right back, gets the ball finally picks up the ball at his feet, sends Justin behind and draws the penalty. So it looks like a pretty simple goal, just hit it against the keeper, but that was after a 2-minute, just incredible work rate sequence by our team. Our student announcers on the live stream, Tom Stasiak and Eric Fensky, are future alums, but they've exhausted their eligibility. They're super seniors now. They're doing a great job on the live stream for us in terms of announcing. They're very, very invested in it. They're doing what they call their plates of the game. And they actually presented it on Sunday in our pregame meeting, and they went to Michael's and got these gold plates that they decorated for kind of like a trophy style thing. They gave the plate of the game from Friday to Justin, and on Sunday they gave it to Brett Bender. Earlier this year I mentioned Brett Bender. He's one of our center backs. He goes unnoticed a lot of the time. He puts in a ton of work and keeps us in these tight games. Moving forward, hopefully we won't concede 3 to Metro, because if we put 2 goals in on a team like that, we hope to get a result. Something else in terms of a team recognition, earlier this year we were recognized the top 10 in the region, and we are now back in the top 10 in the region rankings. Just absolute testament to our guys' work rate, and I mean, getting a 5-1 result and then pushing a team like Metro State to a really close 3-2 result. So again, thank you for those who came out. Pretty favorable weather. Your support means a lot to the guys, like having some faces in the stands for them to look to jog over to at the end of the game and start clapping. they feel like it's worth more. And you guys showing up, whether or not you know anything about soccer, it means a lot to us. It means a lot to myself personally as well. Are there any questions about the weekend or the one upcoming?
It seems like that's a lot of penalty kicks in 2 matches. Is that because the college game is officiated differently, or just the way the games were being played?
It's a little bit of both. There's some games where every ref has their own feeling of what something was, and there's a lot of spot calls, and if we're allowing the other team to get into our penalty area and there's a bouncing ball that we challenge, we assume some risk there. So whether or not it's a judgment call, we have to be a little bit better at judging when it's worth going into some of those challenges, because we were a little overzealous at times. The same on their end though. Justin has drawn all 3 of our penalties, and when there's athletic, aggressive players that go into dangerous areas, it makes defenders question, like, do I need to go in and challenge here? Can I leave him? So 4 in a game is pretty exceptional. Our field compared to a lot of the other fields we play on is a little bit small, and that means the ball's going more direct, the ball's in those areas more. So I think you'll see that more at Sioux Park. There are more penalty kicks, the ball's in the penalty area more often. So it's not like outlandish that there were 4. I think all 4, I could see how they were somewhat justifiable, and we're, you know, as we go through film, it's a spot call. It's not conclusive one way or the other. Hopefully we can just limit them getting into that area more and keep finding ways to get into that 18-yard box. All right, thank you again.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. A lot of good things going on with soccer, obviously. I don't know about you guys. I keep hearing the coach say how the players are doing great and they're responding and they're getting it all done themselves. And obviously, nobody takes the moment to say, probably a little bit of good coaching too. So good job. Well done. Next up, Steve Johnson, cross country.
All right, well, we had last weekend off, so we took the kids up to Hill City and put a little bit of a hill run in, and went up to Mickelson, heading towards Crazy Horse for an out and back, and then did a little bit of up tempo on the way back down, let them use the downhill. They like to feel that downhill and get a chance to fly a little bit. So that was what we did for the weekend. We're heading out to the Roy Griak Invitational this weekend at the University of Minnesota. GRIAC is a big one. It's been around for 30 plus years, and every year seems a little bit bigger than the last. This year on the women's side, there's going to be 44 teams in our race. They actually have 5 races on the day, including 2 high school races, or excuse me, 10 races, men and women's. And we'll have 41 teams on the men's side. So if you think about those field sizes, that puts those fields somewhere around 300 to, and there's no cap on entry, so 300 to, it could be upwards of 400, 420 runners in those fields. So it's going to be a really, really big crowd. We've got 32 Division II teams that will be there on the women's side. Of those, 4 are nationally ranked, and 3 of those are ranked in the top 10. 12 of those teams are ranked in their respective regions. We're actually going to get to see a lot of schools that we wouldn't normally see by going up to this meeting. We've got schools coming down from Canada. We've got schools coming out from the West region, such as Simon Fraser, Western Washington, UC San Diego, Stanislaus State. Those guys are all making this trek out. And on the men's side, we're going to see a similar field, just not quite as strong up at the front end, but we still get 3 top 20 teams. We get 11 teams ranked in their region, and so we're seeing a very similar field on the men's side. So it's going to be a very, very good challenge for us, and a good opportunity to see what we can get done in a crowded field. One of the reasons why we're seeing such a change in the field compared to what it's been in the past. In the past, you might get a random school here or there from some of these different regions, but to see 5 or 6 teams, I think we get 6 teams out of the West region that are coming in. for this meet is because we had a change in our qualifying system. And so as of last weekend, every race that we run counts toward an overall head-to-head ranking against those other teams. And what they'll do at the end of the season, once we run our region meet, is they'll start taking the number 4 teams in every region and try to find ways to compare them head-to-head. And so what that means is the better that you do against teams from other regions, the better you look, but also the better your own region looks. So that puts a little more pressure on regions like ours that you know, we've talked a lot about being the toughest region in the country. We have to live up to that hype. We have to live up to that expectation now. We're going to see 5 schools from the RMAC at the meet this weekend, so that's going to give us a little bit of a preview. These are all the mid-level teams that are going to be coming up to this one, so this is going to be a good test for us to see where we're at. Give us a chance as well to rematch against Black Hills and Shattering in a bigger field. Bigger fields change the game quite a bit. In a small field, it's easy for teams to be close together. As we get into bigger fields, what happens is you get more people filling in those voids between your runners. And so what happens is, like if you look at our home meet where we had 5 girls between Shattering's number 4 and number 5 runners, all of a sudden that 5 becomes not just our 5, but 40 other people's runners as well. Well, all of a sudden you added 40 more points to what that team scored, and it changes the dynamic considerably. And it just makes it an entirely different race. This course is going to be a challenging one for our runners. For our women, it's their first time this season going up to the 6K distance, which is the championship distance. Adding that extra 3/4 of a mile really stretches out the race a little bit for some of them. The nice thing for our group is having that maturity on our team, having that experience already running the 6K distance on a regular basis. They're not worried about it. So mentally, we don't have to worry about that battle. The other thing this course brings is it's a rhythm buster course. Right? So what I mean by that is, it was once described to me as up, down, or sideways. And so there's really not a time on the course. If you were to go down and run on the track, or you were to just run down St. Patrick's Street, you'd be able to get into a rhythm and just continue your stride and cadence, and there's not a whole lot of extra work, extra thought involved even when you're running. You just go. On a course like this, you really have to be cognizant of what's coming up next. And so what it does, it actually for us may help us out a little bit, because we have a lot of milers and we have a lot of young guys. And so what that does, it gives them something new. Every time they turn a corner, they're going to have something different. And there's a lot of twists and turns in this course. So we may be going up a hill, they've got to know what to do and what's coming after that hill as to how to approach it. If it's a long flat across the top, we can come at that a little differently than when it's a downhill. We've got to know to accelerate around every turn because there's trees on this course. And so we have that opportunity with the twisting and the winding on the course to be able to stretch out and separate away from guys that we may have been running close to during the course. So this course is really fun in that respect because it really allows you as a runner to try out some different strategies and different techniques and see what happens over the course of the race. And for those younger guys, it really helps them to stay more engaged in the race. The one thing we can't do, we had a runner do this a couple of years ago, is we can't go out too fast. This race will start wicked fast. We're going to see some of these guys trying to run mile PRs in the first mile of the race and then keep going for 4 more miles. We can't fall into that trap. If we fall into that trap, we're going to be in big trouble. We had a young man do that a few years back, first time we'd gone out there, and we knew we had to start faster than what we had been doing in smaller fields, but took it to the extreme, and he got about 2.5 miles into the course, and he was sitting in about 20th place and finished 149th because he all of a sudden got out there and started looking around and realized he's running with guys who are all going to be in the top 50 in the country and panicked. And once you panic in cross country, you're done. So you've got to really control yourself mentally and and come at it from a little bit conservative approach and just let the field carry you out rather than trying to actually aggressively race the start. This race, the race this weekend will be a great test for us, especially as we've shifted gears in our training to get a chance to see where we're at. So really looking forward to what we to this opportunity and to see what we can get done. Questions?
Where are the other teams that aren't competing, like in the RMAC? Are they running this weekend, or they?
There are a few of them that are running this weekend. Some of them, with the change in the system, what happened is that Division II created, I think it was 5 races across the country that are geared specifically as crossover meets. So trying to get multiple regions to come in together for that. So some of these teams are sitting, just biding their time, waiting for that meet. A few of them are going to be waiting until next weekend when there's the Chili Pepper down in Arkansas. And so they're going to be going down to that race. That's another meet that gets a lot of Division II teams. And mindset there, quite frankly, is that there's an opportunity to pick up some points, some advantage over particularly the south and the southeast regions, because those 2 regions are not as strong as the RMAC. When we looked over the last, when we made this shift, they looked at about the last 10 years worth of results, and typically the south and the south central, or excuse me, south and southeast regions, as well as the east, the highest they place in the national rankings, in the national meet, is around 15 to 20 on a regular basis. And so, so there's this idea that those regions are weaker, and so they're going down to try to pick up some extra points down there. Other questions? All right, thank you.
Coach, thank you very much. Up next, Zach Tinker, football.
How's everybody doing? Good. Hey, tremendous juice on Saturday night from you as fans. I'd like to thank everybody who showed up and supported the Hardrockers on Saturday night. We got beat not because there wasn't enough juice in the building. We got beat because the better team won the football game. And we appreciate all your support. We expect it again as we're back in the Black Hills as we come up on our game this coming weekend against our arch rival up at Black Hills State. There are no explanations and excuses, just evidence for why we lost this football game. We were out-physicaled in terms of rushing yardage. We did not do well in the red zone. I'm surprised. I was shocked that my wife didn't change the locks on the door the way we played red zone offense. But I got into the house the other night, so that was a positive. We have to be better in red zone offense. It was just, that's an area that we pride ourselves on, and we were not good enough. We did not do a good job, obviously, in the turnover game. We couldn't take it away from them. They're a disciplined team, but we couldn't take it away from them. And then when we started to really try to press, they started to take it away from us, or we were giving it away to them as well. So we certainly need to improve in those areas if we want a chance to beat that upper echelon of the conference, which certainly that program, CSU Pueblo, is probably in the upper echelon of the conference without question. Despite that, there were some highlights from the game. There were some things that we did well. I don't know if Brad's going to be able to share some of those things with you in terms of what we saw on the field. We did have some good performances. I thought juice-wise, offensively, we came out with really good energy at the start of the game. First several times we had the football, we were doing some real positive things and got some things going, but we weren't able to quite sustain that. And then defensively and in special teams, we didn't quite match their intensity level, and we need to do a better job of that because we know we're capable of it. We did some really good things once the game settled in. Defensively, I thought we played a really great second half for the second week in a row, where we were flying around, we were playing rocker dog defense, and so very, very excited to see what we might look like this week. So I'll wait for Brad when you're ready, and here we go. That's us taking the field. We went with the blue pants this week. And the kids love those highlight videos that Brad starts us off with. This is the very first third down conversion. Again, I'll tell you, we went into the game confident that we could move the football and that we could score points in this game. We wanted to be very aggressive with our approach. Much of this is from the first drive. Dorian Covert, number 21. I thought this run right here had juice dripping all over it, didn't it? I mean, he just carried a whole slew of guys down, and I thought that play actually generated a lot of confidence within our program. If you were on our sideline, you got a feeling that there was no back down in our senior tailbacks. We ran a little throwback scheme here. Kevin makes a nice play. This whole first drive I thought was a good attack by us, and the players just did an outstanding job executing the plan. It's a pretty remarkable play by Jake. You know, I thought Sullivan a season ago when we played this game, you know, was not as sharp. In this game, he was really great. He really kept some things alive. I was really impressed with the way Jake played. Obviously, he made a couple mistakes late, but not due to lack of effort and intensity. Kevin Thompson, our star tailback, number 11. You know, again, we did a good job in the first half mixing in our run game like you're seeing us do here, which is something really realistically in the second half we didn't do. Nice seam ball here to Brandon LaBrie, number 32, our freshman wide receiver. You know, Brandon did not play in the Dixie State game. He was a little boogered up from the first game, and so it was good to have Brandon back. When 32 and 13 are both on the field at the same time, you just saw it. They're right next to each other. They're hard to cover. And here's Isaiah Manley. A big play right at the end of the first half to get us right back in it. Turned it into a 2-score game, and then we were getting the ball coming out to start the third quarter, and we felt real confidence going into the locker room that we were prepared to go do what we said we were going to do, which was finish this football game in the second half. You know, as we move forward, I wanted to share with you our players of the week. Our service player of the week was Anthony Wright. Anthony had a great week running the ball. Obviously, you saw that Pueblo has a very, very strong running game, and so it was important that our running backs give our defense a great look, and he did that during the course of the week. On the other side of the ball, our defensive service player of the week is Connor Janovy, defensive back out of Spearfish, South Dakota. And Connor's done a great job. He actually started with us as a wide receiver. We moved him to defensive back because we needed the help. He's done an outstanding job for us. Our confidence player of the week, confidence was the theme last week. It was Dorian Covert. Dorian just played with, again, he played with a ton of juice. He played with a ton of energy, no fear, you know. And you can tell when you look at an athlete who's committed to his craft. And Dorian is exactly that. The only regret I had is maybe I would have liked to have fed him a couple more times because he was eating on Saturday night. The high-octane player of the week was Brandon LaBrie, our receiver. Over 150 receiving yards. He's played 2 full games. He has 150 receiving yards in each, that's good. So if we keep doing that, and he can have a really special season. Our dog player of the week, our defensive player of the week is our defensive tackle, Adrian Perez. Adrian played with a ton of energy. Really, that's a big physical offensive line, and he fought for four quarters and 60 minutes. Did an outstanding job, and Adrian has really come along as the season has progressed. I think his best football is still in front of him. And then our offensive rookie of the week was Jermaine Williams, wide receiver, and we've really been looking to add another component to our pass game, add another weapon, and we know that Jermaine's capable, and Jermaine has finally got his legs underneath him. He had his first 3 college catches. We targeted him a few times, and he came up big for us. And so now that we have 4, 84, 13, 32, we're starting to develop the components of the full receiving corps and the weapons that we need if we want to win some games in the RMAC. And then finally, our pickaxe player of the game is Sam Fullmer, offensive lineman, senior, Sugar Land, Texas. And Colorado Pueblo has 2 of the premier defensive players in the league. Number 8, their linebacker, is the premier defensive player in the league. And number 10, their defensive end, might be better than he is. And Sam was matched up on number 10 all night long. And I'm not saying 10 didn't have an impact on the game. He certainly did. But he only had 1 tackle for loss, and he was not the reason why we didn't have success in that game. So kudos to Sam for stepping up to that great challenge on Saturday night. Next up, as you know, as we move forward, is a big one this weekend. It's a noon kickoff, high noon in Spearfish. Against Black Hills State. Black Hills State comes into the game 1-2. They won their opener in remarkable fashion. They lost their second and third games, and really the result of something we know a little about, which is their quarterback, their star quarterback, Ron Hummel, has been out with an injury these last couple of weeks. He's expected back for the game this week, so we're going to get a chance to see the best they have to offer. They're an outstanding offensive football team. Their tailback, number 34, Perez, is one of the premier players in the conference. And they're starting to get some implementation of some of these new guys on defense and are playing some better defense. The game kind of got away from them a week ago when their second quarterback got injured. So certainly they're going to come in very hungry, and now that they have their weapons back, I know that they'll provide us a tremendous challenge. And it is a rivalry game, so I would expect it'll be juicy. We try to get through that first quarter and make sure there's no bodies on the ground, because it's such a wild first quarter. So much emotion in the game, so much intensity, and so we need to kind of get ourselves through there, play with great juice, and make sure that we're doing a great job finishing this game when we get a chance in the fourth quarter, which we know we'll have. Questions for anybody?
You watched the film, the game against Pueblo.
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
What did we learn from the film against Pueblo? We learned that we need to play well enough to win that game. No excuse. We've got the pieces to do the job, and we've got to do it. It just wasn't coached well enough. And when we're bad in the red zone, that's on one person, the head football coach. That's period. So I take full responsibility for it, and so I don't sleep real good. But that's what we're going to fix and get ready. But we have no excuse. We play to win. We're not trying to compete with anybody. That's not our thing. We're playing to win, and our job is to do that. We got to do a better job. That's what I saw. Yeah.
How about injuries? Do you have anything
Yeah, nothing that I would announce that could get onto this World Wide Web. It was a good fight. It was a good competitive fight in the RMAC. I think certainly we're a little boogered up, as I like to say, but we brought some extra dirt in. We're rubbing some dirt on some of our issues, and there's nothing like the Black Hills State game, the home state trophy, the Black Hills Brawl. It kind of makes everybody start feeling a little bit better. I assume by Wednesday night, everybody who doesn't feel real good will start feeling better.
Yeah. Any early reports on their new field up there? How it's
Early report is there's no possible way it could be worse than what we played on there 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They had massive issues with their field a couple of years ago. They have a new one. It can't be. I don't think it'll be a factor. It looks like they're playing games on it, but the field that we played on several years ago was in bad shape. But I think it'll be fine. Won't be an issue for us.
So how do you, Black Hills, what do you got to do to beat them?
We got to do the things that we talk about every single day. We have to play a more physical brand of football. We cannot lose the turnover battle, and we cannot be bad in critical situations. We were bad in red zone offense. We weren't good enough on third down defense. Those are the areas we talk about every single day. We have to make an impact on the special teams. We really didn't win the special teams against Pueblo, and we knew we could if we would have played at our best. And so those are the areas we need to do well in, But if you look at it, we've looked at it, through the course of human history, the team that turns the ball over more than the other team is going to lose. That's in the last 2 years in RMAC play, there's been something like 68 games in which there's been a disparity in turnovers, and it's the record of those teams is 53-15 in those 68 games. If you win the turnover battle, you can win the football game. So we're going to go take it away from them, and then we got to do a better job of not giving it away. Okay, see you Saturday. Rock on.
We're looking forward to bringing the juice up to Black Hills State. We had very good attendance at the game this past weekend. We had about 3,200 people at the football game. We also had almost just as many people watching the game online. So there's a lot of interest out there, and people see good things happening with the football program. With the game this weekend up in Spearfish, please know that the Alumni Association as well as the Hardrock Club are co-hosting a tailgate party at 10:30 a.m. leading into the game. So please feel free to come by and get some free food and drinks. We'll get you juiced up and get you ready to get out there and support the Hardrockers. I want to say thank you again to Subway for providing the food. Thank you to Brad Bloom and to Sandy Carlson. Appreciate you guys' help as always. You do the yeoman's work for all of this. Thank you to everybody here for your support of the Hardrockers. We really appreciate you being here. We really appreciate your support at our games. We appreciate your financial support as well. So please keep it going. We've got a lot of good things happening. We want to keep things going that same direction. You can always go to hardrockclub.org to donate. We're doing a refresh of the website, so you'll see a new website up in a couple of weeks. The next luncheon is going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings next week on Tuesday. It'll be starting at 11:30 a.m. Everybody knows where Buffalo Wild Wings is, I assume. But so 11:30 a.m. Buffalo Wild Wings. We will see you there. Thank you.